live in a few days. So now, as I'm live, breaking news: Bradley Beal headed to Phoenix. Trade came down about over an hour ago from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, and the big trade as Phoenix is forming a big three. And Chris Paul is part of the deal. The big piece in Phoenix headed to Washington. Now, Chris Paul probably won't play a game in Washington. He'll probably get released or bought out. And we know Chris Paul is probably going to head back to L.A. either with the Clippers or the Lakers, more likely the Lakers. Or maybe Miami, who knows, right? We never know. But so Chris Paul's gone. Landry Shamet, also a couple second-round picks and some pick swaps. We don't know what the pick swaps will be. We don't know what year. But we do know that that's the deal. Now, Washington's getting roasted on social media. They're saying, what are you doing? You got robbed. I think Washington's trying to get into a cap-friendly situation. They know they're not going to win. They're not going to rebuild. And Chris Paul comes with a big cap number that will come off the books probably next season. Or if they buy him out at a reduced rate, right? 50 cents on the dollar, whatever the buyout rate is in the NBA. So Bradley Beal waived his no-trade clause, right? Because remember, Bradley Beal was one of the few players in the league that had a no-trade clause. He waived it to go to Phoenix to pair up with pair up with Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and DeAndre Ayton. Now, this is a big deal for Phoenix because they're going all in a situation that is going to put them in a heavy tax burden. Now, the new Phoenix Suns owner who just got the team, right? And he's trying to go all out. He paid a big, heavy price for the team, and now he's going to be hit with a high luxury tax for at least the next few years because Bradley Beal brings $270 million remaining on his contract to Phoenix. Now the Suns have 4 max contracts on the roster. 4 guys on max contract deals. Their flexibility to improve the roster because of the luxury tax penalty that they're going to have will be very hard. So their bench is going to be G League guys, right? Like they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, man. They're going to have to bring those guys up from the G League to fill out the roster. That's just basically how that team's going to look. And the scary thing is they could be 1 or 2 injuries away for the season being done. Kind of like the Clippers, right? Clippers had Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And if they don't play, right, because of injuries or whatever, the season's it's in shambles. Phoenix more so. We know Kevin Durant can get hurt at a layup line, right? That's how fragile his ankles are. Booker could disappear at different points. And we don't really know how Bradley Beal will play in the big postseason moments compared to playing out in Washington, putting up a bunch of points. Now, Beal is a stud. He's a player. And then DeAndre Ayton is probably the most overrated max guy in the league. But so we will see what this team does and can they have enough offense to take down the Denver Nuggets. This team won't play a lick of defense. They probably average 150 a night and give up 160. Who knows? But after losing to Denver in the postseason, they thought they had to go out and get some more offensive firepower. Now, everyone's asking the big question in the room, how would what's going to happen? Is Beal going to play the 3? Is Booker going to be the de facto point guard on the roster? Because now if you look at around the NBA, there's really no more legitimate point guards left in the league. Like I'm talking about straight up point guards that like Magic's Chris Paul was probably the last of the dying breed of NBA true point guards. Every other guard in the league is mostly combo, scoring guard. Look at Jamal Murray. He's not really considered a point guard, even though he plays point guard. He's a scoring guard. So I think guys are getting away from the pure point guard position now. And usually the guys who are running the offense, like Jokic is a center. He's a point center, I guess. Point forwards were a thing at some point back in the days where guys like Grant Hill, Lamar Odom, a few others back in those days. The point guard position is almost like because of how the positions change, right? There's no Stocktons, Magics, and GPs, and these guys, Jason Kidds. Mostly guys now that can put up 25 a game, 20, 25 points a game. These are your point guards now. So maybe Phoenix is like, look, we don't really need a point guard, right? Oh, don't forget James Harden too, who's kind of a combo playmaker, scoring guard for years in Houston, and then with last year with Philly. But it seems like the guys they're just going with so Beal and Booker are going to be in the backcourt, right? Now at times maybe they will put up another guard, and then because Beal could probably play the 2 or the 3, but they're not going to guard anybody. That's the problem. They won't be able to guard anybody, and that's going to be the big issue. But is it really a big issue out west? Probably not. I don't think this move puts them better than Denver, right? A full healthy Denver team is probably still better, because they'll have depth, and who knows how long this will take for these three to get going, unless DeAndre Ayton turns into this defensive stud like a Tyson Chandler type of a defender, and completely like becomes that kind of guy on the defensive end. That might be the ultimate improvement that happens within Phoenix, right? If DeAndre Ayton will need to take the next step next season for the Suns to really be a force. If he turns into a defensive juggernaut, like the year where Chandler had with Dallas, how great he was when that Dirk made his run, like that type of defense, he would have to turn into like a all-time defensive great in the paint. Then, that can help Phoenix. Now they do lose Chris Paul, which is Chris Paul's a nagging. He's annoying at times, but he did solidify that leadership position at the point guard role. So we'll see how the locker room responds with the departure of Chris Paul, who is getting old. But this is a major move here. The Suns will now have $163 million in salary cap commitment with just Booker, Durant, Beal, and Ayton for the 2023-2024 season. So all those guys are on the hook for $163. Now, if my math is correct, that's way above the NBA salary cap. So how they gonna fill the roster out? That's the crazy part. I mean, the salary cap is gonna be weird. Like 4 guys got like all the cap. So Bradley Beal, look, I'm not trying to be funny here, but this is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy to watch, right? Bradley Beal, 11 years with the Wizards, right? He was drafted number 3 overall back in 2012. He's 30 years old, nearly 30 years old, and so we'll see how this works out. We will see. And this is the second blockbuster deal that the Phoenix Suns will have made in the last 2 years. The last several months, 2 years, right? First with Durant and then with Bradley Beal under the new owner. So the new owner is not playing any games. He is going for it. And you have to respect the owners for that. We like owners that put their money, unlike in certain franchises in sports like the Oakland A's, who are extremely cheap, and the Mets for years were cheap until they got a new owner with the we used to call them the coupons up in New York with the Mets. The Wilpons, we called them the coupons. That was like the funny joke. because they would never want to spend. Now, despite being in New York, but now we see certain owners in the league will go all out, and it's very rare. I mean, I guess it's not rare, but it's really risky for a new owner to go out with a bang. I know Ballman, when he took over the Clippers, he made splashes quick. We know Mark Cuban would make splashes. But new owners who buy the team for like billions of dollars, and with the cap situation in Phoenix, you really don't see that type of aggressiveness. And because he essentially is losing money already. Unless Phoenix actually wins a title, he's already going to be losing money on this investment. Now, obviously, in the NBA, if he holds the team for like a decade, depending on the value, like we just saw Michael Jordan is getting ready to make a profit on his team with the Charlotte Hornets, right? I think he spent like what, half a billion. He's gonna get like 2-3 billion in investment. So as long as you hold on to the team for like a decade, I don't know how valuable are NBA teams going to be in 10 years. Are we really going to be seeing a $10 billion NBA franchises? I don't know. I mean, at some point the market will correct itself, right? Especially if another league comes up or some type of I know they're talking about NBA expansion. But here's the good news though. Why I think the new owner, he may not, maybe he knows this, maybe he doesn't, but there has been talk about expansion in the NBA, right? And why this deal plays a part in a different way, because we know when expansion comes in, they have rules where guys can amnesty players, where contracts could be erased and all kind of stuff. Like they had it back when they expanded last time, where teams can get rid of players and get the contract off the books. So I don't know when that expansion is going to happen. It could happen in the next couple of years. I know they've been talking about it. So we know for a fact, like if the Suns don't win the title in the next couple of years, they'll probably be one of those teams that will exercise that amnesty if teams get one. So what is left over for the Wizards, right? The Wizards have player option decisions on Kyle Kuzma and Kristaps Porzingis, who could both become unrestricted free agents. So the Wizards could potentially could be losing their whole team. Their core guys could be gone. And those are pretty good pieces that hit the market. I mean, they're not. I mean, Porzingis was really good. He's turned his career back around after having a slow start, after not really doing well in Dallas and having that hot start in New York before the injury. Porzingis is still a talent. Kyle Kuzma is a solid role player. I mean, so these guys are probably going to get some calls to get offers if they do decide to not pick up their player options. So we'll see about that. But Wizards are clearly moving on. They're going to rebuild. Now, Beal averaged 23 points a game on 51% shooting. He played 50 games last season. He was injured. That's the problem here with Phoenix. Can Beal stay healthy? Right? Beal, Durant could get hurt. Beal's approaching 30. Durant's about over 30, I believe. These guys are really going to be he's a career 22% shooter. He had back-to-back seasons of over 30 points per game from 2019 and 2021. So Bradley Beal, we know he can score. So we'll see how that develops moving forward in the NBA. Now, I will say this. I didn't think this was going to be the first domino to move. I thought we was going to see some noise from like Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal, and others. I thought that was going to be the first domino to move. I wasn't really expecting this one. Now, I'm not surprised. I mean, we thought at some point that Beal would probably get out of there. And the guys don't want to play. It's Damian Lillard next That's the question. Will Damian Lillard be the next one to be moved? Because Bradley Beal gave 11 years to Washington, and they didn't do jack squat. Nothing. So who's next? Will it be Bradley Beal? Will it be Damian Lillard? We're going to find out. And I want to know what you guys think about this trade. Do you think this trade helps the Phoenix? How does it make Phoenix any better? Like, far as can they beat Denver? Are Denver now in trouble because of this trade? That's the question. Are the Denver Nuggets in trouble? Should they be worried? Should they be scared because of this deal? I say no. I say they should not be afraid at all. I think they'll be fine because I just don't think Phoenix, their roster, they don't have enough. They have no, like, they might as well have open tryouts at the goddamn YMCA because they ain't gonna have nobody to fill the roster. $163 million amongst 4 guys. That's a lot of money. They're gonna hold open tryouts at the Phoenix YMCA on Monday. Whoever wants to show up, whoever wants to have a chance to play on the Phoenix Suns, come on down. Because that's what's going to happen. Look, that's it, folks. Well, that's it for this one. Beal headed to Phoenix. Let me know what you think in the comments. SportsSteady at protonmail.com. And we'll talk about some more stuff going on. But that was the breaking news that happened 2 hours ago. Bradley Beal traded to Phoenix. Chris Paul gone, headed to Washington, who we expect to be bought out probably before camp so he can find a new team. I think he ends up in LA with LeBron, with the banana boat. But we'll see. All right, guys. That's it. Sports Page, run by sports fans. Peace.